Friends, one of the earliest mystic masters of India is Shankara, more properly known as Adi Shankaracharya. What does the prefix Adi mean? Adi means most original, prime, the first. Shankara's interpretations of Vedanta have so dominated the intellectual life and thought of the country, and has become so well known in the rest of the world that his work is now almost synonymous with Vedanta, in spite of the fact that other interpretations exist and are followed certainly widely. One measure of Shankara's influence is that it is very difficult for anyone, either Hindu or non-Hindu, to read Indian religious texts without unconsciously seeing them through the general interpretation left by Shankara. The great temples, the holy places of India, where he lived, preached and prayed, have made him, his name, legendary. He has left an indelible image in the Hindu mind. His greatness is not only in the context of Hinduism and Indian philosophy. His exposition of Advaita has a relevance to the cultural history of entire world philosophy. This is because Advaita does not need, for its validity, the symbolism or the prop of any religion. It does not need the mythology of Hinduism. The one fact that comes to the mind of a non-Indian the moment the country of India is mentioned is its contribution to the spiritual evolution of the human species over the centuries, particularly through its Vedic and Upanishadic thought processes. But if any single individual master is to be associated with this great contribution, one of the earliest such is certainly Shankaracharya. It goes back to as early as the 2nd century before Christ. Of course, even this date of Shankara is controversial. In fact, anything that is connected with Shankara is mystifying, if not controversial. Shankara was not only a great philosopher. Of course, he professed a sophisticated philosophy with precision and clarity, but he was also a great reformer. In the short span of 32 years, he achieved what no one ever before or ever after him achieved. At the age of 3, he had mastered the language of Sanskrit. At the age of 6, he had already learnt whatever formal learning that was to learn. At the age of 8, he was ready to renounce the mundane world along with its glamour, and he did. Before the age of 12, he had found his formal guru, at whose feet he reached the shores of the then existing knowledge. By the age of 16, he had already written his famous commentaries, bhashyas, on the Upanishads, on the Gita, the Brahma Sutras, Vishnu Sahasranam, and Sanat Sujati. These commentaries have excelled every other commentary, and they have stood the test of time for more than a millennium, and I am sure they will stand for several more millennia to come. Before the end of his life, he had toured by foot the entire subcontinent 3 times, and more, he established several religious organizations called mutts, of whom 5 are the most famous and are still carrying the torch. He carried on verbal debates with almost 76 other schools of religious thought and philosophy. he brought them all under the banner of Advaita. He did not kill them, but he made them accept the philosophy of Advaita. He left behind him scores of devotional poems, at least one for each deity or temple then known in India. He wrote 5 unique expository works: Viveka Chudamani, Aparokshanubhuti, Atmabodha, Upadesha Sahasri, and Prashnottara Ratnamalika. Each one of them constitute in its own way a concise encyclopedia of Advaita Vedanta. Finally, he also reorganized and streamlined the daily worship of the individual Hindu in such a way that it has survived him for centuries till now. Even now there are hundreds and thousands of people who are doing puja and rituals according to his prescription. His immediate disciples, whom he later nominated to lead the mathas he established, were Sureshwaracharya, Hastamalakacharya, Padmapadacharya, and Totakacharya. Shankara was also an acclaimed poet. His compositions, both in prose and poetry, excel even some of the greatest literary poets India knows. He was not only one of the deepest thinkers of the world, he also had the unique distinction of being very lucid in his expositions, whether it is written or oral. His expositions of thoughts were really lucid and understandable. He was a profound and well-read scholar, but was in addition a blessed saint who had the grace of God in all its fullness. We know even in his childhood he had marvelous powers of spirituality and scholarship. He was also known for his genial disposition and kind heart. We all remember that on one day when he was studying in his Gurukula, he went to a poor Brahmin's house for the usual bhiksha, and the poverty-stricken housewife was unable to give him anything substantial except an amalaka fruit as a humble token. He was moved at the sight of her poverty on one side and her readiness on the other side to give away even the little she had. And the famous Kanakadhara Stotra came from him. Lo and behold, goddess of wealth immediately filled the whole house with a heavenly downpour of gold in the form of golden amalaka fruits. Even today, it is one of the most popular hymns of India, which is repeated very often by young and old all over India. It not only offers this prayer, but it also describes the 3 deities, Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Durga, as manifestations of the one mother goddess and the one supreme. Shankara was further a great mystic and yogi. He had a direct perception of the infinite consciousness. Nahandeho nendriyanyantarango nahankara pranavargo namuttegi I am nityam sakshat shivoham, he was able to say. He was also a practical socio-economic come religious reformer. His knowledge and felicity in law, logic, rules of grammar, and etymology was as supreme as his devotion. He synthesized in his one devotee, in his one personality, the superlatives of a philosopher, a writer, thinker, a poet, a scholar, a blessed devotee, a mystic, a reformer, a humanist, a lawyer, a logician, and the beloved of the Lord. This unique combination of so many excellent achievements of his in his short 32 years life has not perhaps been paralleled by anyone in the history of the world, either before or after his time. Thank you.